Hello everyone, welcome to another stream. Yeah, so a little bit unusual time and day to be doing it. Basically, on Sunday I didn't get everything done I wanted to do, mainly because I sort of muted for now as I'm in. Okay, sweet. Yeah, didn't get all what I wanted to get done, mainly because I'd sort of gone to 3 hours, just over 3 hours, and I'd forgotten to do some stuff. So basically, today I'm just gonna catch up on what I didn't do on Sunday, and then also get some stuff ready for this coming Sunday stream, where we're gonna do hopefully the electronics. So hopefully I played around with a few settings for the stream, and we won't get any dropouts or anything like that, because we did on Sunday. So yeah, we'll just see how it goes. I'm going to have my tablet with the manual on here rather than on the laptop, which means I can have the whole stream page open so I can see what's happening. So yeah, so let's continue. So let's go over to the close-up camera. So basically on Sunday we'd got to this point in the mini stealth burner build, and we're basically at the point, let me put this light on, we're basically at the point now where we've got to put the hot end in. Now I was hoping that I was going to have postal delivery by now, because I've got a couple of bits on order, including the sequin LEDs for the mini stealth burner, but unfortunately they haven't turned up yet. So we'll continue as if I'm not putting them in, and then either if they come before Sunday I'll put them in, or we'll put them in on Sunday. But yeah, so we've got to this stage. So the next part in the manual is to prepare the hot end. So on Sunday I hadn't really fully built the hot end, because I have changed out the heat brake. So the hot end comes with a PTFE lined heat brake and a all metal heat brake, but they supply it with the PTFE lined one in. So I've swapped them over. I've now applied thermal paste where needed, and I've actually hot tightened the nozzle as well, and obviously attached the hot end to the bracket. So the bracket is for the Dragon hot end, but the hot end that Fysetc supply is called the Tornado. Don't know what it's like. We'll just have to go with it basically. I could obviously swap it out for a different one, but I'm not going to. So obviously I've put the thermistor and the heater in and everything like that. So we're at that stage. So what we've got to do now is to put a piece of PTFE tube in. Now, so you'll see a few things here that I'm going to talk about later, but for the time being, this is what we've got to do. Now the kit comes with some blue PTFE. I'm not going to use that for going in the hot end, mainly because I would rather put in something that I know is PTFE rather than something else. So yeah, this is what we're going to put in. So what we need to do, quite cleverly, with the jig that you have for building the printer, as well as doing your pulley locations on your drives, it also has other functions. So we've got this 6mm mark here, or this hole. So regardless of what hot end you have and use in the V0.2, they all have to have a 6mm stick out of PTFE above the hot end. So that's what this thing is for. And I'm just going to grab a knife so I can cut this too, because I forgot to pick it up. So let's grab that. So yeah, so what we can do is, now I've already basically got a flat end on our piece of PTFE. So what we need to do is basically put it into the hot end and make sure we get it all the way down. So let me just show you. Basically, if we look here, so that I've pushed that all the way in. I want to make sure I get this on screen. So that's about there. So what if we pull that out and lay it over the top, we can see that we had about the same amount of stick out there. And that's going to basically the top, or it's basically going to above the heat break where it transitions into the hot end. Hi Remy, thanks for joining. So what we're going to do is we're going to push this in again and just make sure it goes in, which it has. So really pushing that in, make sure it goes in. And then what we can do is take our little tool here and put this over PTFE, push it down, and then we know that we're going to get 6mm stick out like that. So what we then need to do is basically cut this off. We want to try and do it so that we get it flush, basically like that. So what we might have to do is just do a little bit of clean up, just so it's definitely flat on the top, which it is. So we then pull that off and we know that we've got our correct amount of stick out. So that's quite a clever, they've combined a few features into one little tool, which is really good. So let me just open the tablet again. So basically this is what it explains in the manual. Put it in, cut it flush, obviously. And then we're going to be actually mounting this into the mini stealth burner. So let's get some screws. So we want the M35s, or M335, sorry. And that's it. So this can be, so I've sort of had a little sort of test fit earlier, and this is quite tight to get in here. And this is the fan saver hot end mount. So that's basically, there's two mounts, and I've got the other one up here, I think. Have a look. I think this is it. Yeah, so we've got this bit here. So this is also the dragon mount. Just hold on a second. Thank you. So we've got one little delivery, and we'll have a look at that in a second. So what this does is, this is the non-fan saver, and this is basically just a mount for the hot end, and this one basically just extends down side of the heat sink, and it's just going to add a little bit of an extra layer for the heat away from the fans. That's what that is. And then what we need to do is basically push this up from, let me get this in a better position. We basically need to sort of get this into a position where we can slide it up, and that little wire, make sure that wire doesn't get caught like that. And what we need to do is basically get this in the hole, which is below the extruder, like that, and then just push it in basically and get it flat and all the way in. As I say, this is pretty tight, so do it gently, but also you have to provide enough force. So that's done that. If you just bear with me a second. So it looks like we're getting some ads played while we're listening to our music. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to a different browser, one with an ad block on, because I don't want to get demonetized. So bear with me a second. There we go. So we should be up now. So that's basically that's pushed that in really nicely. It's the right way round, etc. Yeah, I believe it's the right way around. Although it does sort of, yeah. So basically that's installed according to the instructions, because this is a clone, or not a clone, sorry, this is a Dragon mount, but it's got a V6 block. So if we look on the manual, it shows the Dragon basically that way round with the heater part up. So that should be where we want it. So we've pushed that in, and then we need to put our 35mm screws in from the front, and they've got to go through a few different parts basically. We might have to still just give a few things a little bit of a squeeze to get them in. We might even have to just screw them in. That'll get them to go in. Now, ideally they'd push in, but it is a printed part after all. Let me just check from the other side. I know that this part is the correct size. Yeah, so it's almost like it's ever so slightly out of alignment. What we might need to do is just try and manipulate where it is in the mount. There we go. That's pushed in a lot better. One side has anyway. Just see if the hole lines up a bit better. Yeah, it is lined up. It just needs to be pushed in. There we go. So we'll screw them in a little bit further, and then this is what will attach to the carriage that we put on Sunday. It would be nicer if it pushed in a little bit easier, but go with what we've got. I think it is going in. Yeah, it's going in. What I'm just going to do is just get them sticking out the back a little bit, so that when we line it up with the carriage, we've got something that sort of indexes but doesn't stop it from going in. As you can see, I've just put them through a little bit. So while we're got to that stage, let's have a look at what I just got handed through the door. So this is only one of the packages I'm expecting, but this is I'll try not to show you my address. I'll get out what it is. So these are actually a little bit hard to come by at the moment, because I guess everyone has bought them up to do what I'm going to do. Although I haven't seen many people actually have them on their builds if they're posting on the Voron Discord. But yeah, these are sequin LEDs. So these are from Adafruit originally. I bought them from a UK company. But yeah, so they're really thin PCB with LEDs mounted on them, with a resistor as well. And then these fit basically in this gap here. You can see that? Angle that. Yeah. So I don't think I will fit them today, just because I want to see, probably test them and just see how bright they are or whatever. But yeah, and I've bought plenty of them, so I may actually try and make a little wire harness up and sell. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. So let's just go to the next stage. It's good that I've got them. So we are now actually attaching this to the printer itself. So let's make a bit of room. I'll move all this stuff out of the way. We'll go through this in a second. I will just show you briefly. So the hot end did come with a groove mount if you would ever want to use it, and then obviously the PTFE lined heat break. And then it comes with this disgusting brown stock, which I don't want to use, but it's just the same as an E3D V6 sock. So for the time being, I'm just going to use this blue one, I think. So let's grab the printer over. So basically what we want to do is, at this stage, we're just trying to basically fit the carriage. So we want to try and keep these wires out the way, and what I actually might do is cable management these first. Now where did I put the cable ties? Here. Just to keep these out of the way, we'll cable management them now. So we've got space to cable tie stuff on the side, both sides. And I won't do these tight because obviously I will want to put the LED wires through, but just enough to sort of keep them under control, because we want to be able to put this on and not snag anything. So yeah, just to keep them out of the way basically, because we've got to mount this in such a way that we don't want to then pinch any wires. Let me stand up so I can see what I'm doing. So yeah, this just basically mounts not the easiest thing to do when you're it goes about there, and I don't want to get my head in the way, but let's see if we can tighten up a screw. Hopefully we'll be going into not quite, so that was a little bit high, it appears, so let's undo that a bit. I'm hoping I've trimmed the belt enough. It appears that does need to be flush. So I did trim the excess belt, but it looks like we need to be a lot more flush. So let me just grab some cutters and I'll take that right down. Obviously we've already tensioned our belts correctly. So we've basically just now made that flush. There we go. Let's see if that does now sit a little bit better. You want to just make sure cables are not being pinched on either side, which they don't appear to be. So let's see if we can screw this in now. I think that's going in this time. Let's do a bit on the other side as well, just to keep it square. Yep, so let's just check the manual to see if it wants us to do anything else before we tighten that down. No, so we can basically go ahead and just again make sure your wires aren't getting tangled. And of course I will probably take this off to put the LEDs on anyway. But I just wanted to show you the process. There we go. So that's now on. I'll tip that up so you can see. So yeah, that's attached. And then it wants us to use an M3 by 16 on the back. So if you remember from Sunday, we had that nut that you had to apply a little bit of super glue to. Well, that nut is something that now holds on the hot end from the back as well. So if I turn this round, I can access that hole. And you don't want to push too hard because you don't want to push that nut out, obviously. You want to get so that we're threading into it. So yeah, that's now completely secured front on. We can probably do the front up a little bit more. We've sort of pulled it back towards the carriage. But yeah, that's on. Feels quite secure. And then we need, so there's either a printed part now that attaches to where the screws that hold the motor on either side, or the kit has actually come with some brass hex posts, hexagonal pillar they call it. So basically these will go on, and I will probably have a look to see if I've got a hex bit to just make that a little bit easier to put on. I can also tell you what size they are, although I don't think, oh yeah, so a 5mm bit holds these posts, and we can just tighten those up a bit, and then the same again for the other side. So this is gonna, in our case, this is gonna hold the umbilical mod PCB. you want to be careful not to go too tight, but obviously tight enough that they're not going to come undone. So we then want, the Fysetc kit, actually they supply the STL for this small piece here. So then what this will do, and I've got the PCB up here. So this is the umbilical mod PCB, or the part that goes on the tool head. So what that allows us to do, and this part has got a chamfered side, and what that does is that it allows the PCB to sit flush to it, because it's got cutouts for the solder. So this is then going to sit on the back there. So let's see if the size screws that are suggested are the right ones. So the stock part actually attaches to the carriage as well, but we won't be doing that because we haven't got, our part doesn't do that basically. So we just want, according to this, some M3 6 screws, and I think that's these ones here. Let me just double check. Yeah, so I've tried to organise the screws a bit better today. But I'm just going to check and see if these are actually the right size, because they appear to be a little bit small. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with 8mm, just so that we get an extra couple of threads in those posts. So that'll be these ones here. An 8mm screws get used a lot in Voron builds. They're a lot for the panels and stuff like that. But I think that will just allow us to get a few more threads in our part. So what we then need to do is screw these on as well. Just like that. So this basically now will allow us to plug in where we need to. Now again, we'll probably save the wiring to so hopefully all the sound's okay, the music's not too loud, etc. You'll have to let me know if that's okay. So let's just have a look. Yeah, so what I think I'm going to do is actually leave wiring these up, purely because, all good, excellent, thank you for letting me know. Because I will do the wiring on Sunday in the mainstream, but also I'll be adding those sequin LEDs, so I'll have to run some extra I'm going to have to take this off anyway to be able to run those extra wires. But basically what this mod allows us to do is, rather than having the wires go back to the motor plate here and then down to the control board, we have let me just grab them for you. So we have an extra PCB that goes up here, goes about there, and then we have a supplied cable that then joins those two things together. So now, annoyingly, this cable has sort of been bent the wrong way, so this actually wants to go on there, and then this will want to go back here. Let me just check which way around that's going to be. So yeah, it's going to be that way round. So what I will probably also want to do is sort of manipulate that a bit and just hit those likes. Yes, exactly. Thank you. So yeah, we'll save all this for Sunday's main stream. I just wanted to sort of try and catch up on a few bits for this stream, and get ready to actually wire everything up. I would do the wiring, I would try and do the LEDs on stream, but yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe we could test, yeah, maybe we'll test one, or we'll try. Let's have a look what else we can do. So we can actually put in the rear panel. We can do that for sure. So yeah, let me move some stuff. And we'll put the rear panel in, because then that'll get us a step further. I've got to find that panel now. So the kit comes with all the panels, obviously. They're all wrapped in the paper type protective covering. So let me find the right panel. Here it is. So this is the panel we need. Now hopefully this will be matte like the other panels, because I think they look really cool. I have no doubt it will be. These are always a pain just to get started, but once you've got it, they go quite nicely. So let's just move that a bit. Put that tool in there for whenever it is. Can't really tell if it's matte on camera. Oh yeah, you can just. And the paper covering always tears right at the holes as well. So you want to try and do it. Yeah, you can't really avoid it, unfortunately. So with my other V0, I laser cut some custom panels. I'm not doing it on this one, nor am I going to engrave panels, because I don't think it looks too good, because they're black. You don't really get any contrast with engraving. The only thing I had thought about doing, and you can tell me if this is a good idea or not. So the V0.2 has a bottom panel that will go right on the very bottom of the printer. What I thought I might do is, if I can get a pinout diagram for the Cheetah version 3 board, to engrave the pinout on the bottom panel. I know there's been a few printers, I think mostly from BQ, who put their pinout on the bottom. And I thought that was quite a good idea. Obviously, if you then change the control board, it's a little bit of a pain, but I don't intend to change the board on this. But I thought it might be a good idea. Nearly got that off in one go. Get that last bit, there we go. So yeah, that's a nice matte panel. I think it looks really cool. So let's get to the right page in the manual. So let's flip this up a bit so we can see what we're doing. Where can I put this panel? Yeah. There we go. So we'll These are going to have to be on this side, so let's make sure we keep them above the panel. There we go. And then what we need to do is basically align nuts as well. So I'm going to make sure I get this panel the right way around. So we've got the bottom of the printer here. So we want the panel to go in this way, basically. But what we need to do is to get our nuts in the right place. So let's try and do this one first. Try and get that one from under the extrusion. There we go. So there's no real easy way of doing this, to be perfectly honest. You just got to sort of see roughly where they go and then hope you have room to move them. And then these ones are going to be the same, although we have multiple holes on this side. So let's see how far off we are. So again, let's just make sure we've got the right side of the panel. Looking at the diagram, that should be correct. This panel does feel a little bit, tight, but will hopefully be okay. So I can see that I've got to move that one up. Basically all got to move up a little bit. If we go this way with the panel, we might be able to do this with it. Now let's see if the manual tells us. So a quick trick I found with getting the nuts aligned, use magnets that came with the kit. Ah, that's a good idea. Because obviously I want to make my life impossible and not use no drop nuts. But I think we're okay here. Let's try and get this panel to come through. So it is a little bit tight, this panel. So I might have misaligned that one. See what happened to that. They're probably going to move when I move the panel out. Just move that one up a little bit. I'm completely underestimating how high this one's got to go. Try there. Let's try Richard's magnet trick. So these are our magnets that we're going to use for the door, etc. How are you supposed to use the magnets, Richard? Because even with that whole sack, they're not that magnetic, to be honest. What if we use... No, that one's just moved out of the way a bit. use them when they are not lined up. There we go. Right. This is in the right place now. So, if I drag them up, but the magnets don't really do anything because they're not. It looks like the string went down again, but then came back up. So if you can let me know if we're still live, that would be great. String went down. Yeah, has it come back up? Back up. I don't know why it's doing that. I've played around with the settings a bit. Yeah, I don't know. We want washers. No, we don't. So we'll just try and make sure this panel is even. Yeah, feels about right. I'd be worried if you open an app as what's causing my stream to go down. Yeah, these magnets don't seem to be able to do that, Richard. That one's gone forever. Grab another one. Okay. Just snug these down a little bit. They don't have to be too tight. There we go. That's that panel on. Oops. Right, so let's stand this back up. And let's have a look at that parcel I just got handed. Let me actually move the printer out of the way. Does look nice, that panel. Yeah. So I'll try not to give my address away. So I'm going to open the box and then show you what is inside. So if you're in the UK, or even if you're in Europe, or on the Voron Discord, you would hopefully would have heard of a shop called Printy Please, and they're extremely local to me, like in the same town local to me, and they do various Voron parts, got a couple of their own sort of branded things as well. So I've ordered a few little bits for not really upgrades, sort of mods or add-ons if you like. So let's have a look what we got. So we've got a clipper expander, which I think are basically essential. Because they're not, well, I say a shop, they're an online presence, shall we say. I could have collected it, but it was free delivery, so might as well get them to send it in the post. So let's have a look at the clipper expander. Like I say, I think these are almost basically essential. These are really good little boards. So these add an IC2 port, a NeoPixel port. Is it four controllable outputs? Yeah, I think that's really useful. I have one in my other V0, so I definitely wanted to get one for this. Let me see if I can show you. I'm not sure what the bag of parts are for. We'll find out later. But Richard was kind enough to give me, this is the clear part, goes in the display case for the RGB LED. So that's obviously a resin print. And let me see if I've got the display case. Yeah. So this is the display case for the display, and then we've got this clear part that will go in here. You get it the right way around, and then basically that's going to allow the RGB LED. You don't really have to have it, but I wanted one, and Richard was kind enough to include it with my order. So that's basically that bit. I intend to rebuild my other V0 because now I've built this V0.2, I feel like I want to change the other one. And I wanted to give these nut bars a go. I hope that they will actually fit in the extrusion, however. Obviously these are an LDO product. I'm not entirely sure how compatible they are with other extrusions, but no, they appear to work. So what this basically is rather than the printed nut carrier, this is just a threaded bar. Yeah, so Richard's saying, there's too many Richards. Non-printy please Richard is saying that Cyborg now do nut bars as well. So it's definitely, I haven't used them, so I don't know if it makes a huge amount of difference, but I wanted to buy them and find out. So we've got nut bars. I've then got some, I don't know if the, get that a bit closer. Basically we've got some daylight on a matchstick PCBs. And that's what the little bag of bits is for. So I've got two of those to have in the printer. And RGB LEDs will feature in the printer. They're just not going to be in the chamber. I would rather see what I'm doing, what's happening in there. So like my 2.4, I've got yeah, exactly, because the clipper expander allows for 24 volt controllable ports. I can control both the like daylight on a matchstick separately as well, so excellent. And then the next thing I've got, so the The Fysetc kit comes with a textured PEI, double-sided textured PEI. I'm not, because I will hopefully be printing ABS and ASA in here, I've not had a great deal of success with getting those to stick to textured sheets. So Printy Please actually has their own black PEI sheets, which are like a satin finish. So I got one of those as well. And this actually comes with a magnet too. So basically I've now got a spare magnet because I won't be using the magnet because I've already applied it. But yeah, so got a nice another print surface as well. That's really cool, really handy. So yeah, that's basically what I've had delivered. So I'm looking forward to using those. So let's get back to the build. Just gonna grab a drink if I remember where I put it. So where are we at in the manual? So basically the 0.2 uses DIN mounts for the control board and for the Pi. So I've already printed those as well, and I've actually already installed them onto the parts that they need to be installed on. But what we need to do is put the other side that's going to attach, that they're going to attach to, on the build, on the back plate. If I just find those parts. So that's basically what these parts are, and these get VHB taped to the back panel. So yeah, so we can basically apply some VHB tape to these and put them on. So let me find that as well. And this is some a much wider VHB tape that was in than what was in the V0.1 kit I had. I'm not entirely sure why they went with wider tape, but let's get a pair of scissors. So we might not actually stick these on yet, but I'm just going to basically, we're just going to do a little bit of prep work for Sunday, because I may want to move things around when I put them into the printer. So what I might do, so what I'm going to do is just cut a bit off to the right length roughly, and then because that's going to be too wide, I'm just going to cut a bit off the side. Basically I have to make sure I put it on the correct side. So it's suggesting that you put it basically in the square that is a feature on the printed part, is where they want you to put it. We've got just basically got to cut a bit off to achieve that. Shave a little bit more off there. Didn't cut very well. Yeah, this is basically what we've got to do today, is just a bit of prep work. So that's the first one done. Just a little bit of VHB tape on the back. VHB tape is really strong stuff. Like, it's the force to pull, you will never pull it straight off, you have to twist it. So it's great for doing stuff like this. And I've had the power supply of my other V0 VHB tape to the bottom of the other V0 since I built it, and it's not gone anywhere. So what's everyone up to today? We've had people in meetings. Richard's probably not doing the work he's supposed to be doing. He's procrastinating. It's so sticky, this stuff. There we go. So that's that tape applied. They're ready. Just work and being on here. No better way to spend the day. Let's put it over there. Right, easy day. Nice. So what we can also do is we can actually VHB tape the power supply into the printer as well. So we might as well do that. So here's our little Meanwell 150 24 volt 150 watt 24 volt power supply. Let me just grab a bit of kitchen roll just to get any grease off the bottom. So let's get this the right way around. Again, it's not essential that you do exactly certain size bit of VHB tape, but we'll try and keep it to as close to what the manual tells us to. Where did I put those? There. So this VHB tape, like I say, I'm more than happy to trust that this is going to be enough to hold this power supply. We're just literally applying sort of 2 pieces of VHB tape to the bottom. Hello Maker Viking. So we want to try not to cover up anything. Not that we'll ever sort of be on the bottom here undoing anything, but going pretty good actually, thank you. Yeah, today we're just sort of trying to catch up on some stuff that I didn't quite get done on Sunday. So not an awful lot of actual build progress, more preparation for Sunday, where I want to basically get all the wiring done. So let's bring the printer back over. And I actually would have said the manual at this point actually could have been better laid out in the sequence that it wanted you to do things, because we now can't really put the printer on the top, lay it on the top, because the tool head protrudes above, but it now wants us to stick stuff to the bottom. So we're pretty much forced to only put it on its side and then try and stick stuff to it, which you're not really going to be able to see. But yeah, so perhaps we would have been better off putting the power supply on at an earlier stage. I don't know. So basically what we've got to do is put the power supply in sort of this corner. And you're not going to be able to see an awful lot, but so we're basically where our power will come in, the mains power will come in here and along here, and this is where our screw terminals will be. So what it's basically telling us is that we want to put this a couple of millimeters away from the edges, so what I'll probably do is I'll probably aim for about there. Hopefully I'll get it straight, but no one's going to ever see it after it's stuck on and put the panel on. So I'm just now going to basically peel off the HB that we just put on and stick this to the bottom of the printer, so I can get them started. There we go. So we'll peel these off, make sure we've got the power supply the right way around, and then we're just going to basically stick it on to the bottom with a few millimeters clearance like that. Basically just stick that down. So that's now stuck to the bottom of the printer. We'll be able to run our wires from our mains inlet to our terminals, and then this will all be covered up anyway. But yeah, that basically ain't ever gonna come off. So that's cool. We can also do another step while we've got the printer in this state. So what I'll probably do is actually rotate the printer this way, tidy up with cables. So yeah, that's on, stuck on there really nice. What we can do is if we use some M3x12s, which are these ones here, the next bit of preparation we can do is put on our electronics fan mount. So let's see how it wants us to do that. So we have two pieces basically. They're going to go roughly around here. So if I can get it in the right place. So this bit goes into the extrusion a little bit, pushes in, and then we have this bit that basically will sit on top like that. I believe that's the correct way. And then fan, no, I think I've done that wrong. Have I? Yeah, I think I've done that wrong. Me looking at it. Okay, thanks for dropping by, Maker Viking. Have a good day. So let me have a look at this from a different perspective. So I think we actually need to have this. Let me try and work this out. So again, it thinks we're working with the bottom of the top of the printer on the deck. So what we actually want is for this to go this way, I believe. I can't quite visualize that myself. It still looks as if it's meant to go in this one. I think this is meant to go that way. Right. Or is it meant to go that way? Anyone got any pearls of wisdom on this? So the fan, we want the fan blowing. So does it need to go that way? And then you'd have a fan there. See if there's a better picture of it later on. Yeah. The curved bit goes on the bottom of the extrusion, this curved bit. So it goes on this extrusion, this one. What I might do, try and be a bit clever about this, although we might be too late for that. Where's that other fan that I had? There it is. Yes, but the bottom of the extrusion. So if I've grabbed the fan so I can have a little look at it. So this fan is eventually going to go on here. This way round. So like that. that right? What is the big printer in the background, white thing? So there's a printer there, Richard. There's nothing here. There's a television and a desk. And then we've got this here. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, so that's an E3D tool changer, which doesn't get the love it deserves, basically. So if that goes there, then that means that this is going to go in there. So yeah, that's going to go in there, and then this bit is going to push onto there. And these two screws will come up from the bottom. That is not at all what picture looks like to me. I still think I've got it wrong. Still don't think that's right. This shows that this would have to be mounted there. So that would mean that this bit has to go there. Then this fan is going to go, but then that's going to be in the way of the skirt, isn't it? Very confused. Got this here. If that's going to go no idea. I'm just being really dumb at the moment. I just cannot work it out. So I think that goes there, and then that goes there. That's how I'm going to do it for now. Where do I put that? Thank you. just put these in a little bit and then move it so it sort of shows it going more this way. I'm going to put it there. We'll just tighten these down. And then this would go, didn't really tell us which way they want fan wires to go. I guess it's up to you, because that fan doesn't look like it's got a lot of wire on the connector. Don't know if you can see that little silver bit next to the red wire. So it then wants some M3 16s. Is that one? Yep. We'll just attach this fan for now. So the next couple of pages are actually something quite important that I wanted to talk about, and that is yeah. No, so it goes the other way. Goes that way. Put the fan like that. Is the AC inlet, and the issue of sort of colour coding on the wires. Now, let me say to start with that the supplied connector is fine. They supply you with a wiring diagram, although personally I would prefer, so let me just stand this up and I can tell you what I'm talking about. I can get these wires out of the way. Yeah, I guess that does look roughly about what it's supposed to look like. So there's that fan, which you can barely see. Yeah. So let me move this out of the way again. So this is the inlet as it's provided, and as I said, they do provide a wiring diagram. And if I remember rightly, I did say in the unboxing stream that I was going to change the wiring on this anyway, because I was sort of flicking through the manual. This just doesn't resemble the picture in the Voron manual at all, and the wire colors are just not right at all. So the IEC color scheme is brown, blue and yellow green for earth. An American color scheme is black, white and green. So red shouldn't be on here at all. They're only switching the live connection, even though they've got a switch that's set up to switch live and neutral. So now I've fed this back. As I said, it's perfectly fine. It does work. It does switch on and off. As I have actually used it like this because I was doing some other things. But I'm going to change it. So what I'm going to do is just going to take all of these off, basically. And then I'll show you how I'm going to do it. One thing I do actually like about these connectors is that they've got like a small tab that you can squeeze with your finger, and that actually disengages the little clip that goes in the hole on the terminal. That's quite good. I do like that. But let's just take all of these off. Okay. So let's get rid of them. Don't want nothing to do with them. Right. So, if I can show you, this is what the Voron manual has. And this corresponds to our switch. I'll put it the right way around. Okay. So everything that we need and everything that a manufacturer would need is in the manual already. But they chose not to do it that way. It's up to them. I personally am, like I said in the unboxing stream, I'm going to change it anyway because I want to do it the colours that it should be. So I've gone ahead and prepared myself a bit of cable and the jumpers, and so yeah, let's wire it up. So we'll do this bit first. So this bit, this cable is the one that goes from the inlet to the power supply. So there are fork connectors. They go onto our power supply, and then we've got these insulated connectors that go on our inlet. So we'll put these on first. So our neutral goes up in this top corner. Try and put this the right way around. Our live goes next to the neutral. That does push the switch out, so you have to sort of push both things at once, basically. And then obviously we've got our earth. So they are I'm just going to make sure they're on correctly and purely. So they are the wires that go out to the power supply. And then what we need to do is we basically have to put these little jumpers on. So we'll do the inside one first. So we'll do live first, which is, so basically brown below brown is the first thing we need to do, like that. And then this loops round and goes basically next to it like that. We'll just make sure that that's on sufficiently. There we go. And then we take our neutral connection. These insulated connectors are a little bit bigger. They're a little bit harder to get on, but they are a much better connector. And then this one loops round, connects to there. So that's how it should be, if we look at the manual and look at our terminal, if I get it the right way around, you can see that everything is matched. So that's how I would do it. That is how I'm going to do it. As I said, I fed that information back to Fysetc. They basically replied saying, thanks for feeding back. You know, we provide a wiring diagram. So yeah, that's basically their reply. So up to you how you wire it, basically. So yeah, that's that done. I won't put that into the printer just yet, because again we'll do that on Sunday. So everything else is basically, wiring up. So I think that was pretty much what I wanted to do today, is just to get caught up from Sunday, where I hadn't sort of hot tightened the hot end and everything like that. We could briefly see if we can get one of these LEDs to light up, if we're interested in that, or at the very least we can have a look at one. They're quite a delicate thing. So you take one half away, and I probably should have took the other half. This sort of dictates colour, and then want to see the LED. Cool. I'll have to think the best way. What's the best way for me to do that? Need power and some wire. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this is going to work, but I thought that a multimeter, well, let's try, oh, that's a 9-volt battery though, isn't it? What can I use? We only want about, I think it's 3 to 6 volts to do this. What can I use? This might not even work, but I'm just going to see if it does, because the multimeter has a diode function, and I thought you could try. I don't know if this works or not. Let's have a look. No, I thought that provided some output, but it doesn't. No. What we need is a battery or something. What can I use? Not entirely sure. Let me have a think about it. So I kind of came out here not expecting them to turn up. Somewhere I've got a 5-volt. Yeah, I have got a USB lead somewhere with an end missing. If I could find that, then potentially I can connect it to a USB connection. Let me have a look. So I've got my wires box under here, might have thrown the USB label away, thinking that I probably wouldn't use it, but try not to be too loud on the microphone. That would be, no, that's the wrong end of a USB cable. Tell you what, I've got loads of USB cables, so I'm just going to lop the end off. I think the 9-volt batteries I've got, I might have a 9-volt battery that hasn't quite got 9 volts in. So let's just see how much voltage this battery's got in. Perhaps we could use this. Oops. Got 8 volts, that might be too much. Let's try this one. Got 9 volts. Should we try it? Should we try a 9-volt battery? What's the worst that could happen? Let's find out. Test our output here. See how many volts we've got coming out. 7, 8, yep. Let's just see if we can blow this up. Yeah, pretty bright, isn't it? I mean, that's it. Yeah, wow. I've managed to blind myself. So they work at 8 volts. I'm pretty sure it's I dropped a screw earlier, didn't I? No idea. Wow, I have actually got like a bright spot in my vision now. So they are pretty bright for such a tiny little LED, for a sequin LED. And then we'll have 2 of these. In our mini stealth burner. Now the question is, how do I power them? Now, from what I understand, now someone did actually ask this the other day on the Voron server, and Timit, who is the person who created the Umbilical PCB, suggested that he use the X end stop connector. Where did you order them from? So I'm in the UK, and these came from a company called Rapid Electronics. So you can either buy, I would actually get them from eBay, from their store on eBay, and if you want I can find it and put the link in the chat if you bear with me a second. That's if they had any left. Now they had 3 sets in stock when I ordered. Now I ordered 2, so there might be 1 left. So if you just bear with me. I'll see if, yep, so there is 1 left. And that is the link. So if you're in the UK and you want 5 sequin LEDs in white for £6.50, that is where you can get a set of 5 right now. So yeah, should we do that one more time? Should we see how bright it is? They do have obviously a polarity on them, and I'm going to try not to look at it this time. But yeah, they're pretty bright. Yeah, tiny LED sequin from Adafruit. Are you in the UK, Bigger Fish? Is that something that is handy for you, that link? Like I say, I looked on like the normal Pimeroni, Pie Hut, again UK based for me. Didn't have any of the white. Looked on various other websites. Yeah, you're in London, so exactly. Well, yeah. Let's put some. Here we go. Some E3D sunnies. There we go. I don't think it will help, but we can put them on. And I can't really see anything because I need my glasses on, but yeah, so I looked various other places, and either they had like a minimum delivery or a minimum order, or they had quite a high delivery cost. So I ended up getting these from eBay from Rapid Electronics, and they are actually based in. So I'm in Ipswich, they're in Colchester. They're literally like 15 miles down the road. They used to have a trade counter before you asked, Richard, so I could have picked them up, but they don't have one since COVID. They haven't had their trade counter. So yeah. So I could have bought all 3, but I chose not to because I'm nice like that. But yeah, if you're after them, you haven't bought it yet, Bigger Fish, but yeah, so there's a link there. I would personally avoid Colchester, so not going to judge. Yeah. What do you think about Ipswich then? Yeah. So they call them warm white, but they are pretty bright. Let's have a look through the manual. I don't think there's anything else more that I wanted to do. We're basically at the stage now where on Sunday we can wire things up. And mount the electronics and whatever. There's not really anything I can do with the panels because they're not. Suppose we could get the display ready. At least Ipswich isn't in Essex. Yeah, got that going for it. Oh, I will show you actually something on the display that I had to do. So I did point this out on the unboxing that the USB cable they provide is obviously a USB on one end going to the Raspberry Pi, and then a JST connector on the other. Which is fine, but the board actually didn't come with a JST header. It came with just the mini USB. So I've now soldered a right angle connector, or a 90-degree connector onto the display, so that hopefully when this then gets plugged in, the cable will go basically just along the back like that, and then obviously from the front we won't see it. So I could actually do the display while we're here, because we've obviously now got our clear bit in. This will basically just sit in here like so. I probably shouldn't have done that yet, because we need to take the bit of protector off. Nice. Quite tight in the old display case. There we go. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll just take this lovely. Take that off. I can put it back in. And our RGB LED will be behind our nice thing. So let's have a look in the manual what we have actually got to do here. We put our thing in, and we're just using find the parts. These two printed parts. And our M2 self-tappers. Let's make sure we get this the right way around. Okay, those two little notches go make sure we get this the right way around, like this. Yeah. Let's get the screwdriver. So this will be the last thing I do, I think, today. We'll get the display in its case, and then on Sunday we'll be ready to do some wiring up, which is always a fun task. I like wiring. We'll just get these screws started in the part, just so they stick through enough to basically locate when we put our thing on like that. Better make sure I have got them the right way around before I do that. So yeah, the flat goes against there basically. I might screw these through a little bit more. We don't want to over tighten this. So this will basically sit on the extrusion like that. Yeah, not too tight. We don't want to risk putting the screw through the front of the display. I think if I put that on there, yeah, I should still be able to put the cable in. That's fine. Let's do the same again. Get these ready. So we only had one little hiccup on the stream, on the actual stream side of things today. So hopefully this is hopefully that'll work out going forward. Don't know. Hopefully. There we go. That's the display brackets attached. And still move everything. Still push the emergency stop. If the display needs to go a little bit further in, but I think that's okay. Yeah, good, like that. So yeah, I think that's finished there today. Just wanted to catch up on things, like I said. So then on Sunday we can pretty much just go straight into wiring up. So what I will do in the meantime is get those sequin LEDs soldered to some wire, and then I'll take the tool head off, put them on and everything like that. So if you join me on Sunday, you'll hopefully see that those are installed. So yeah, so thanks for stopping by, and hopefully I'll see you on Sunday. So yeah, thanks for coming.